Hey everybody, so I finally got around to filming a makeup tutorial over kind of my everyday look. Not really everyday, I would say it's everyday glam, right? Because it does use, you know, a lot of makeup, a lot of foundation, lashes, things like that, but it's not like super smoky eyes. It's very natural, neutral color eyeshadow, but I get a lot of, for whatever reason, video requests for this look. So I finally took the time and I did it for you guys, and I hope you enjoy and maybe just pick up some tips along the way. Disclaimer, I am not a professional makeup artist by any, stretch of the imagination. This is just what I have done for myself over the years. It's what I've learned working with makeup artists who have done my makeup for me. It's just what works for me, but you guys always have questions, so at least you can get some feedback on some of the products that I use, things like that. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to pull our hair back. So just gonna use Clippy here. My hair looks super beautiful today, you guys. Rain and gross, disgusting weather is to blame. So before you start putting any kind of makeup on, you want to really kind of, work with the base of your skin. You want it to be super moisturized so that the makeup kind of goes on smoothly, stays on, and it doesn't look dry or anything. So a couple of things that I do is I use an eye cream. So sometimes I go between the Kiehl's avocado cream, which I love, but also right now I'm just using Eye Duty. It's more of a brightener and a moisturizer, so it's kind of tinted bronze. So I just really place a lot underneath my eyes. I'm super into using lots of eye cream. So this one, and the avocado is my favorite. Now I will say with this eye cream, it kind of burns a little bit. This is why I don't always use it. I kind of go between the two, but I just moisturize all around really good to make sure my makeup kind of stays on good. So after that, I put a face moisturizer on, which I just use Cerave products. I like them and they're inexpensive, and they moisturize and they do the job just fine that I need. So put on some moisturizer here. This also has an SPF in it, which I am a crazy person about moisturizing and adding SPF to my skin because I don't want any kind of sun damage on my skin. I did enough when I was younger. Okay, so once my moisturizer I feel like is nice and set, the first product I use is Glo Screen by Supergoop. It's really quite amazing. It has an SPF 40 in it. It gives you a good shine. It doesn't have any kind of tint to it, even though it looks like it's like a very light tint, but no coverage. Mainly just kind of like a glow, and with that heavy SPF because I'm crazy about it. It doesn't have a smell. So true story, I was using the Ilia brand, which is a SPF tinted moisturizer also, and it does have like a good little coverage. However, it smells so bad. Like, I categorize it as dirty socks or even like a wet dog smell, and I used it for like 2 or 3 weeks because I liked it, but I just literally couldn't handle the smell. And even like my makeup sponges really soaked up the smell a lot. I had to throw everything away. I returned it and got the Glo Screen after hearing good reviews about it, and that's what I use now. Now, while the Supergoop is also a primer, I still, whenever I'm gonna wear foundation, I still use a second primer on top of it, and it's a hydrating one. So the Milk Hydro Primer is really, really great. Again, it kind of moisturizes your skin and really sets it for foundation. Now, if I'm not using a lot of foundation, I will just go with the Supergoop and that's it, and I kind of wear it natural with a little bit of concealer. But I'm gonna do foundation today because I'm gonna be doing some video recordings. So I'm gonna use the Milk Hydro. I just, a little bit on my hands here. It doesn't take a lot, and just kind of dab it into my skin. Now, after you get your primer on, you want to wait about 3 to 4 minutes for it to really kind of set before you put any kind of other products over it, just to give it time to moisturize and soak into the skin. Once that feels pretty good and set, you're going to, well, I like to start with my eyeshadow. So sometimes I do foundation first, sometimes I do eyeshadow first and go back. But today I'm just gonna go ahead and do eyeshadow first. I will start with the primer. I don't buy fancy primers. This is just kind of like a drugstore primer, Milani eyeshadow primer, because I also do use concealer as a primer as well, because I feel like that really helps my eyeshadow stick on. And so I use a concealer for primer. So I don't really have a specific, this is my Tarte Shape Tape. I have tons of different kinds of concealers. I don't have a certain one that I mind using for primer, just kind of what I reach for. This is a lighter base one. I do have an Anastasia one that has a little bit yellow base, but this is pretty light because, you know, for day-to-day wear and doing the look that I'm doing today, it's kind of lighter eyeshadow. So I just use a light concealer and I just kind of dab it in all over. Now time for eyeshadow. This is by far my favorite palette so far right now anyways, in this time of day. I do love the Morphe palettes. They are great because they're inexpensive and they have lots of colors, but this is the Too Faced Born This Way Natural Nudes collection. I really have loved these colors. They're just really good for my skin tone. I have blue eyes, dark hair. I'm pretty kind of light skinned. So these do really well and they provide a really good kind of just neutral tone. Plus, if I want it darker smoky, I can, you know, layer it on and make it there. So today I'm just doing kind of a light look, which I use a lot of the times. The pink, let it focus for just a second. So the light pink, and it's called Petal, and I use the petal, the warm rose, and a little bit of cocoa, and it just kind of is, it's not super dramatic, but I get a lot of compliments on it, so that's what I'm going to use. So I start with, because I have the eyeshadow base or the concealer base on there, I'm not going to really put a lot of powder on. I'm just going to go ahead and start with the crease, and I take a big fluffy brush here, use the petal, pick up a bunch, and I just kind of swipe it over. So again, this is not a super duper glam look. It's just kind of like my everyday look that I use. And I take it out to the side here that I use, you know, for my daily stuff sometimes if I decide to do my makeup. So same thing, other side. Petal's a pretty light color, as you can see. There's not a ton, it's not super dark, but I don't want super dark. I just want kind of very light. After I put Petal on, what I may do is I go ahead and create kind of like a line with my concealer so that, you know, I know where to stop. So right now I'm using Fenty Beauty. It's one of my favorite. I'm using the whole foundation, blush, and concealer at the moment. It's my favorite because it's a cool pink color, which I do really well with cool pinks. So this is one of the only concealers I've found. So basically I just create a line here and here. It just helps me to know kind of where to stop applying my eyeshadow, so I'm not over applying and wasting a lot of product. So here, draw a line, and I kind of just keep it there. Now I'm gonna go in with the little fluffy brush. Let's use this one, just a little fluffy brush. I'm gonna pick up some warm rose, so it's just a little bit darker pink, and I'm gonna go do my outside corners here. I have super kind of almost hooded eyes, but like deep eye sockets, and so I don't put a ton of dark inside, but around the outside, so that my eyes don't look like too hollowed there. So I just kind of place it right above that line that I made. That's kind of telling me my stopping, you know, where I should stop. And I just bring it on the outside and kind of down onto my lid right here. Down here. Listen guys, I am not a professional makeup artist by any means. I've had my makeup done quite a bit, but I just do what I know looks good on me. So you have to keep that in mind. But I get people who ask all the time about makeup tutorials to this, and it's not, honestly, it's not that hard, especially the everyday look. It's just a matter of, I guess, probably placing it what's right for you on your eyes. So that's all I kind of do for that darker color. I will take even a little bit darker, the cocoa color, and kind of go really like just right in that corner crease right here, and maybe a little bit underneath, but it's not really a lot. So just right in that corner and kind of underneath just to deepen that little section underneath here. Don't worry, when we get this all blended out, it will be just fine. I'm gonna take a slightly small angled brush here for my eyeliner. I'm gonna take the color Truffle, which is the darkest brown color, kind of dab it in, pat it off, and it's just gonna go across the top line of my lash, almost like just like an eyeliner. It's a little bit messy. I'm gonna blend it out just a little bit across that lash line. Okay, I'm gonna take my big brush here. I'm gonna pick up some of the very white here, and it's gonna go over my lids before I kind of start blending everything out. So I'm not gonna blend just yet. I'm going to take my little blender sponge, which is right here, and I'm gonna kind of just, you know, blend out or get that concealer off there. I'm gonna take my fan brush here and kind of dust off any powder that, you know, dripped down from my shadow. So now I'm gonna take my big fluffy brush again, grab some more of the light pink petal and kind of blend some of this out. Blending is always the kind of key for everything. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go on to my foundation. Let my eyeshadow set just a little bit. I may go back through and kind of touch up a little bit, clean up a little bit of spots, blend out a little bit more, do my eyebrows, my lashes, things like that. But first, let's go ahead and do my foundation. So I've been using the Fenty foundation. This is the color number 200. So it's a cool pink color. It does really well on my skin. I have a problem with foundations looking too yellow on me, and this one's done very, very well. So it's pretty light, but I'm very fair skinned. So I just apply this all over. My primer should be nice and set. Everything should be kind of prepped and ready to go for foundation. So I just put dots all over my face instead of just putting it on a blending brush. I'm just going to kind of blend it all in, dabbing away. The thing about foundation is that, you know, it's normally not the color that as soon as you get it on your skin and it goes on, it's normally not that color. You have to let it sit for a little bit and let color kind of take shape. It changes a little once it kind of starts oxidizing. So, you know, be patient with it. If it's not the right color of for your skin, just give it a second and let it kind of do its thing. And then make your decision after it's kind of set for a little bit. I don't do a ton of foundation underneath my eyes because I put concealer there, so I don't want it to be too heavy under my eyes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my concealer on. Again, Fenty 200, and it's just gonna go right here. Here where kind of my dark circles are. I bring it down my nose a little bit. And then what I do is I do the line again here. And then I will do kind of right in the middle. All right, so I'm gonna blend that out. Let my concealer sit for a little bit. I will go back in. I don't like to put a bunch of powder under my eyes, but I will go back in with more concealer later on. For now, I'm gonna let that sit a second. I'm gonna work on my eyebrows because eyebrows are very important. So first, before I start my eyebrows, I like to kind of clean some of the foundation off because of the product that I use, and I'll explain to that in a second. So I just get a makeup wipe and I kind of go over my eyebrow area. I don't have super beautiful fluffy eyebrows. I do have them some permanent makeup on my eyebrows to help with kind of my shape, and I have hair, like hair in the middle, but it's the outside. So I like to just kind of clean this up a little bit. Foundation is covering it, and so that it doesn't have too much makeup product on there. So I will just take a little wipe, go over it, kind of clean up around there, and I start with my product. So right now, I love the spiked look with eyebrows, but I don't have big furry eyebrows, like I said. So this product helps a lot. I had a lot of people ask me on Instagram, you know, the days that I do my makeup, what I'm using for my eyebrows, and this is kind of the little magic. It's Anastasia. It's the Freeze, Brow Freeze. So it's just like a wax. It's just a little gold kit. It's basically just a wax. Now, I will say I have made the mistake of accidentally not screwing the lid back on all the way, which is very important because it gets real dry if you don't. So I will use a little micro, here, this little micro brush, and kind of brush all of my eyebrow hairs that I have, brush them up. Now you can use a tool or brush or whatever. Again, you could use the micro brush to kind of dip in the wax and get some on your finger, but like I said, mine's a little bit drier because I did not screw the lid on all the way, so I like to use my finger. It's easier to do. And I get some wax and I just kind of rub it across my eyebrow. Here, it's clear, so you don't see anything. It's just very sticky because it's like a wax. So I put it on both eyebrows. Make sure I screw my lid on all the way here. Now I will take that brush again that I just used here, and I will brush it back up. The wax kind of, what it does, it allows for the hairs to stand up and kind of just stay there. It just freezes it. So you definitely want to let the wax dry just a little bit. It's going to be kind of wet. I just brush all my hairs up, if you can see. So everything is brushed up. I'm going to go in with a powder now and kind of set it. So again, I use the Anastasia Brow Duo here. This one's pretty old. I've had it for a while. It's the darkest. It's the Granite, because I like for my eyebrows to be pretty dark. Obviously, I have darker hair. So taking an angled brush here, I'm just going to dip it in the darkest one here. And when I apply this, I apply in up strokes, right? Because I want to keep that look of the spikiness there. So I applied in up, and it kind of just makes it look like, darkens the hair. So again, I just apply it going up here. I will trace the bottom part of my brow to have a good line, but I don't trace the top part. So I kind of get that good line there, but I don't trace the top part. I spend a lot of time doing my brows, so it does take a little while. But again, I just draw a line across the bottom, and then I use upward strokes along my eyebrow to give it that kind of spiky look that's like super popular right now. Brows are done. I'm doing obviously a very thick, bold eyebrow today, but you know, honestly, sometimes I just start doing my eyebrows and they take their own character and I just go with it. So today we're doing big, thicker eyebrows. They are finished. I'm going to just take a lighter color and kind of go underneath the arch here and really just define that. My highlighter, that's just what I'm going to use at this time. And I take kind of a flat brush here, and I just go through the underneath here with the highlighter. Before I put my contour and bronzer on, I'm gonna go ahead and do my concealer once more and then kind of set it. So not as much as the first time, kind of go same areas. Here, not as much. But I'm also going to take my cream blush by Fenty and just go in the other parts of it. So I do put blush kind of under my under eye area. I do have very dark circles though, just genetically I have dark circles. So the blush kind of helps disguise some of that. So I put the blush on like that, and then I kind of just blend it all in. I don't like for my under eyes to be like super bright white. I feel like that is hopefully a trend we're moving away from. So let me do my contouring. That's the most fun part, also takes a lot of work. So for contouring stick purposes, I like the Fenty, of course, Fenty Beauty in Espresso. It's very dark, it takes a lot of blending, but it lasts and it sticks pretty good. So I just go around my forehead here. I'm gonna go cheeks there. Along the bottom part of my jawline here. And then my nose is very difficult to contour because I have a bit of a broken nose right here. As I get older, it gets worse. I have to get it fixed. So I try to stay away from so much contouring of the nose just because of that spot. It almost makes things look worse. I will stay pretty much on the bottom part here, just kind of narrowing the tip of my nose. But every once in a while I'll be brave and go down the bridge of my nose. However, it's getting worse, so I have to get that fixed. And I will use a smaller brush to do, you know, more of that. I contour here and under there. Now with my brush first, I like to kind of just blend it out softly, and I will go do this all over my face. Okay, so I have that all kind of pretty semi-blended. I just touched up with a little sponge. I'm gonna go back and do a little bit more with my concealer here, highlight some of the parts.
This is the extended version.
All right, so now I'm gonna go through and kind of set everything with bronzing powder and pressed powder. So I set it with my Fenty Beauty Just Pro Filter. It's kind of a foundation powder, but it works pretty good for me. So using a brush here, I just go in and set it all. And then I take bronzer. Here, I'm just using Sephora bronzer. Again, I don't go crazy on bronzers, so it's just to kind of help set the contouring part. I use a big brush here, set it over where I put the contouring. So whenever you layer creams and powders, it kind of just helps keep it on all day. So I will generally use all creams and then I will set it with all powders. And it's just kind of layering. This is how I kind of get away with my makeup lasting all day, especially when I do it super early in the morning, or I'm filming and I'm going to the gym later. You know, I don't want it coming off everywhere. So this is how I kind of just am able to set everything. Okay, so final setting step is just the setting powder. So I'm using Hourglass Translucent setting powder. And I just put it on kind of the wider highlighted areas, and it's just to kind of hold it. So I like to use this little pointy angled brush here, swirl it around, and set my powder around my eyes, not too much under my eyes though, so I don't get a lot of creasing. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there. I will come back with blush and highlighter once I apply my lashes. Applying lashes is something I think people are so afraid of, but it's very simple. So I don't buy fancy lashes. I will buy just like the faux silk mink ones. These ones are new. I just saw them called them used by Kiss. Kiss is one of my favorite ones. Now I will order pretty lashes from some of these places that sell beautiful lashes, but For my everyday purposes, I just prefer drugstore lashes. I do wear them a few times over if they're not ruined or anything like that. And they work well for me. I'm gonna apply these. I like to just kind of rub them like this to make sure they have a nice curve, and I'm simply just setting them on top of my lashes. I'm not gluing them to my lids. They are to be glued just to my lashes. So it's very simple. Just kind of set them on top of your lashes, starting with the inside first. And you don't want to mess with them too much. So once you kind of get them on there, just leave them alone. And then you can go back and crease them. Go back and kind of clamp them down and make sure they are lashes are on there pretty good. I have them squished down, so they still feel a little tacky. This, again, these are the first time I'm wearing these lashes. They're not too bad. They're pretty long, but I like crazy big. So, you know, they look okay. So now what I'm gonna do is go through with my eyeliner, apply some mascara. I just always want to make sure that my lash glue is really nice and dry before I start messing with my eyelids so that they don't come off. So I'm gonna apply a white kind of to my inside liner to kind of brighten my eyes up. Here, and then I'm gonna carefully run a little bit of eyeshadow underneath my bottom lid. Now, if I'm going dark with it, I would have done this before applying my concealer, but I'm not gonna go very dark. I'm just adding some of that light petal pink that I use in the top to run along the bottom of my lashes to give it a little bit of color. Again, for me, this wasn't a heavy glam look. This was more of a natural day kind of look that I could easily glam up by adding some darker colors to it pretty easy. So you can take it from day to night real quick. I'm gonna add a little bit of blush and highlighter. So again, going back to my Fenty Cream blush here, it's just pink. I use my finger for the cream, it's easier, and I just go along the top of my cheekbone right here, kind of just dabbing it on. Highlighter, back to Milani. Using just an angled blush brush here that I use for my cream powder too to kind of set, and then I will take the highlighter and go just along the top of that cheekbone right here. I will also take a smaller angled fluffy brush that is right here and run a little bit of highlighter down my nose, just right there, and on the tip, the highlight, I will highlight around my cupid bow right there, and then in the inside of my eyes. So right in there. Now I'm gonna apply a little bit of mascara. I feel like once your eyelashes are nice and dry, if you use, like I use Duo eyelash glue, a little white and blue, it's my favorite. So it does take a little bit to dry. So once you feel like it's dried, you won't see white anymore, it dries clear. And I just like to kind of set them, and I put mascara just kind of pressing underneath my lashes, and then I will put mascara on the bottom. So I just kind of set, and it just helps blend your natural lashes into your lashes, your false lashes, especially if you have lighter hair color. Like I have lighter lashes, so that kind of helps just kind of hide them. So lashes are all done. Now I'm gonna work on my lipstick. I'm just doing a kind of just a neutral lipstick look. My normal MAC Cork liner with my Wifey by Huda Beauty. I don't know. So before I do that, I like to clean my lips off a little bit just because I have excess foundation on them, and I like to be able to see the, you know, the liner. So I use that same makeup wipe and just kind of clean up my lips a little bit. Okay, so once they are clean, I'm going to use my MAC in Cork. It's just a dark tan color. Line my lips. Okay, once they're lined, I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Wifey is the color that I like. It's just basically like a kind of a nude honey beige color. It's pretty light, but it dries a little bit different, so don't be alarmed. Okay, so I let that dry a little bit, and I go back over and clean it up with more lip liner. And that's it. Liner is done, makeup is set. I'm going to just set with some setting spray here. And voila. Now, here's a little tip. So if you're somebody who gets eyes that, like my eyes get real red, they get real irritated real easy, obviously because I wear lots of makeup and I wear lashes, so sometimes that irritates them. A good way to kind of brighten your eyes, first of all, it makes you look a lot more awake. It can make your eyes look bigger. It's just the whites are you know, much whiter, is using Lumify. It's just eye drops that you can get at, you know, I bought them at Target. You just put 1 to 2 drops in each eye, and it keeps the red away for like 8 hours, and it just really brightens the whites. It literally works instantly, and keeps the whites really bright. Everything is done and good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My makeup will last the rest of the day. But I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section.